Retail and hospitality is changing, with often complex and fragmented systems combined with large volumes of customer data for businesses to make sense of. It's critical to work with the right partners in order to guarantee success. At Tratec Consulting, we help retail and hospitality businesses transform their technology, removing overly bloated processes and creating unified and efficient systems of working throughout. So don't just take our word for it. See for yourself. Tratec Consulting, the leaders in technology transformation across retail and hospitality.
Hello, welcome to the All Things Borough podcast, the official podcast for Farnborough Football Club and sponsored by Tratec Consulting. Tratec takes your business visions and turns them into innovative reality. Good evening, Alan and Simon, as usual. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to everybody watching us on YouTube. Simon, good evening.
Evening, all right, yep. Wi-Fi issues tonight, so we're already running late. So as we were just joking, we're going to have to condense it down, so we're going to talk really fast and not go into any detail whatsoever about anything. So yeah.
We'll be like one of them. What they call the auctions with the gavel.
Yeah. Boom, sold, done.
And done. Good night.
Yeah, you can tell I used to dabble in the gaggle as they call it.
Yeah. That could be taken either way, Simon. Unfortunately.
No. I'm afraid you obviously don't know what I mean, because the gaggle is a term used in the auction world.
The gaggle.
Yeah, the gaggle. Yeah. Yes.
What is it? What is it for?
That's the thing. That's what
it's the gabble with the B.
That's what I said.
Gabble, not gaggle.
No, I didn't say gaggle. It's your hearing.
You said gaggle. We'll replay this afterwards. We'll watch this back.
Turn your hearing aid up. You'll be all right. Anyway, it's the knocker. Normally when I refer to knockers, I'm not referring to that. But anyway, moving on.
Right. Yeah.
Apart from that, very good. Yeah. Apart from Wi-Fi issues, very busy day at work, and I've had my dinner, so I'm all right. So yeah.
Right. Well done.
Happy days.
Well done.
Yeah. Happy days.
Yeah. Right. So for those that are watching us on YouTube, again, thanks for watching us. Tonight's is going to be a short one because basically we're going to catch up on the Chesham game, and also came out in the news. I think it was today or yesterday that Mark Ives, the CEO of National League, has announced that he's starting some sort of movement or something. I don't know, because he wants the free
campaign. I think the
campaign. That's the word. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Campaign, because he wants the 3 up and 3 down from the National League. And
I know the word campaign generally refers to you. He probably refers to a really bad holiday in England, but
No. But like I said, he's campaigning for the 3 up from the National League and 3 down from the League 2, which we support and think it's a great idea. But obviously, we have something else that we had in mind that was an idea that Simon sort of came up with. So we'll talk a little bit about that later on. But first, the game, the Chesham game. Chesham came to town Tuesday night.
Left with their tails between their legs.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you couldn't make it because you, as you are.
No. I'll tell you what, you've been putting me to shame, mate, recently, haven't you? Fucking hell, I'll tell you. He'll be going to more games than me. First time this season, he's been to he's been to 2 out of the 3 games. I mean, usually
let's just say before we won't divulge any more, because obviously there was words being said, but I'm not the only one that's put you to shame for not being a proper fan. Have I?
Yeah, that's the term, isn't it? Proper fan. Yeah, apparently, if you don't go to all the away games, you're not a proper fan anymore. Apparently,
no, exactly.
Irrespective of the fact that we've been supporting Borough for about 30 years, you know what I mean? But I actually did go to some away games. I went to the West Ham versus Farnborough Town FA Cup game in the 90s.
You went to the FA Cup Arsenal game, didn't you?
Queued up for tickets at 6 in the bloody morning. Well, it wasn't 6, but 7:30 in the morning. Get tickets for the Arsenal game with the Wesley showdown. with Rocky Baptiste and all that.
The Westlake shit show, more like.
Yeah, well, it turned out that way 2 weeks later. Yeah, he ran off with all the money in a big sack with swag on the back of it. Did all that, and we went to Sutton last year as well, didn't we? Sutton, like 2 years ago now, even. That was the FA Cup game with Casamu and Franny Amati scoring a late sealer. So we've done a few trips. Didn't make Wrexham, sadly, because it was Wales. So we've done a few. So I wouldn't say we're sort of homers or anything like that. That could be taken either way. We do try and get around.
At the end of the day, what you're elaborately trying to say is that we have supported the club for a very long time, for a lot of our lives, and we've been to a lot of home and away games over the years.
Admittedly, more at home.
Struggle the last, but we've been to our fair share of away games over the years. It's a bit of a struggle the last couple of years for various reasons: family, work, football, and other football commitments, like in my case. But look, at the end of the
day, bad weather. Getting up late, that sort of thing. In my case.
But look, let's we've divulged a little bit there, even though we are running late, but we have divulged. But unfortunately, you couldn't make it to the Chesham game on Tuesday, being that you're stuck in Loughborough.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm stuck.
Did you listen to the commentary?
Second half, I did do. I was. I listened to the second half. I couldn't. poor old Neil sounded like he was commentating from the toilet next door. It was. I don't know why. I did message Carl and Carl after through the second half when I was tuning in, saying he sounds a bit. Sounds like he's having a poop next door, and he's still managing to do the commentary. It's a bit of a feat, really. You can't see the game from in there, but anyway. He did sort of sort it out. So yes, but it sounded like we played all right, to be fair, and Chesham did all right. I'm probably not the person to ask. As you were there, you could probably tell about more than me.
First off, I was sat next to Michael Davies, who normally does the grounds, the ground, one of the ground staff, and he helps out with all the little kids that come along and get their autographs and all that from the players. So I sat next to him for the game. We had a good chat. But for the first half, I thought we were pretty dominant in the first half. Chesham had a couple, like two, maybe three half chances, but one where they probably should have scored. Great save by Jack Turner, as normal from Jack. But
they won a game, though, isn't it?
Counter-attacks. They were more like counter-attacks.
Jack normally pulls off one a game at least, doesn't he? But I think
he pulled off two.
Yeah, they won at the end as well. One at the end as well, apparently. Yeah. So
it was in the second half. It was under the bar, and he sort of tipped it over. So it was a really good save. But the first half, apart from the couple of the chances that they had that they probably should have put away, like I said, there were counter attacks rather more than good build up play. But we were just going forward. It was one of those. When you're watching a game and it's like every time, like Man City from a couple of years ago, every time they go forward, it was like they were going to score every single time they did it. That's what we were like. It was almost electric. It was so good to see them playing this way.
Except they didn't score till right at the end of the half.
They didn't score till right at the end of the first half. Yeah, Stuttle when it opened up his account. And that wasn't the first. I think they tried that move a couple of times. Because Reggie laid it off. He passed it into Reggie. Reggie laid it off.
It was a 1-2 with Reggie on the edge, wasn't it?
And then he slotted it under the keeper.
Yeah. Goalkeeper was probably disappointed with that one. He probably should have done a bit better.
I think he probably would be. Yeah.
But same with Penders' free kick in the second half. I think he could have done a bit better. Mind you, I said to you, that wall. I've seen the replay, and that wall crumbled like a Polish builder's fence, didn't it?
Well, there's only two of them, but they just sort of parted wider than the Red Sea with Moses.
Yeah, Moses so they depicted the ball as Moses and just sort of got out of the way. You know what I mean? It was I saw one guy. He just moved his head out of the way and it just went straight past it. So I think he thought, no danger here, lads. The keeper's got that, and then the turn around, it was in the net.
But it was the first half. They did defend really well in the first half, and they would have been a happier side had it been 0-0 at half time, definitely. But like I said, Stuttle scored almost at the end of the first half. Great goal from him. Great move between him and Reggie Young, and a great finish.
Yeah.
But
I was going to ask you actually, what did you make of Ashley Lodge? Because I saw him play. He's a midfielder, dark coloured guy in midfield. Number 18. He played for Bracknell last year, and he was probably a good player.
I don't know. To be honest, I wasn't watching the Chesham players. I was watching the Farnborough players. That's why I was there.
I'll keep an eye on him. He's a good player. He sort of plays the whole midfield player. He's quite good. Obviously, John Grant come on. He was at Bracknell last year. He scored their goal. So
Joel, not John. Is it Joel Grant?
John. Don't know. Any business
Joel.
anyway.
He came on. He came on really late. He came on really late in the second half. He didn't really do much, to be fair.
He scored their goal.
Huh?
He scored their goal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was.
Did you watch the game?
It was all right. It was all right goal. I didn't know it was him that scored. I think they announced someone else that scored.
Are you lying? You didn't actually go.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, no, but I'm sure he announced a different name when
it was Grant. It's been gone down as a Grant goal, but yeah, he ran the London Marathon last year as well. Just a bit of trivia for you. Bit of trivia.
Trivia, just for you.
Yeah, I'm the only person who knows. Yeah, didn't tell anyone. It's a surprise.
Look, second half, they came out. They played. They definitely played a little bit better. They were a bit more tighter, and they created quite a few more chances.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end of the second half, they were really sort of peppering our goal. They had a lot of free kicks around our box. And they were unlucky not to get a penalty. To be fair, I think it was O'Connor who was all over one of their players like a rash, and I think maybe the referee might have been a bit unsighted. Although the linesman was on the linesman's side, so I don't know how it wasn't really given.
Well, it makes a change to actually get a bit of luck in it, because we've had some,
exactly, yeah.
We've had some stinking decisions, haven't we? I mean, I'm still trying to get over the Boxing Day game. To be honest with you, with the female ref bar, I've got nothing against female officials, but my God. Those two goals, Jesus, they were both perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with them. The first one, to give her a due, she couldn't. It was the linesman that gave that one, but the second one, my Jesus. Anyway, it was Casamu's last phantom goal for us. Unfortunately, before he's left, which is a shame. So yeah. And then obviously we got the Enfield penalty was a bit debatable apparently as well. So but there we go.
Well, we've all seen the Enfield penalty decision. It's not a penalty. I mean, he went down the first time, and then he handled the ball when he was down the first time, and then fell over the second time. And yeah, it's all relative, and it's all dependent on the referee's interpretation and where he's positioned in that. So I think maybe for Chesham's penalty decision, he was probably a bit unsighted. It should have been probably helped a little bit more from the linesman. But like you said, and that's what I said to my friend the guy I work with, who's a Chesham fan, who was there on Tuesday night as well. I said to him the next day, at the end of the day, as a club, we were probably due a bit of good luck and a bit of good fortune, and then it came in the form of that game.
Yeah.
We did concede a penalty. We did get a penalty awarded ourselves when Reggie was taken out in the box in the second half. I thought it was quite funny because we all know how Cooley likes to take his penalties. He stands there with his back to goal. While he was waiting for the referee to sort out everybody outside the box, and then one of their Chesham players kept rubbing his head and rubbing his belly, trying to put him off, and eventually, and it actually worked because it was a really good save from the keeper, full stretch up to his both hands up to his right. It was a good save. I mean, he hit it with some power as well, really, as he does. But it was a really good save. So I think overall we probably deserved the win because we were the most dominant, especially in the first half. We probably should have got a couple in the first half as well. So, but yeah, it was overall. It was a good game.
Nice to get a win after 30th of November was our last win. That was chipping them up.
And that's only our second and third goal since November as well.
Yeah.
The first one coming at Abley.
Yeah, Stuttle played quite well, but I've heard good reports. He's really good.
It's the first time I've seen him play. He's a tall lad. He's strong. He's really quick as well, on and off the ball. He looks like he's going to be a great player.
Does he run as fast as me when the delivery man turns up at my door?
You've never had any speed, Simon.
Yes, lies. I was always the quickest and fittest. Still am.
No.
Especially when the delivery driver turns up with me and we takeaway, I'm straight down there, like lightning. Yeah, yeah, good. Anyway, moving on. We got quick preview for Saturday. We got Chelmsford at home.
Yeah, so Saturday, Chelmsford at home. What are your thoughts?
A bit tough game. They're actually underperforming Chelmsford, I think, aren't they? They're not doing well. I mean, we one of the other their podcast of the Clarets Extra, Louis from Clarets Extra. He was quite hopeful at the beginning of the season, but they haven't really done very well. So the manager's decided to jack it in the season as well. So they're sort of.
He is, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's beating that.
So they played on Tuesday night as well. They lost the Bath 2-1 away.
They're one up as well. Lost 2-1. So yeah, it's been the season really. They've sort of got ahead in games and lost a lot of leads. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're a bit brittle confidence, the same as us really. But
maybe yeah. I mean they're 13. They're 2 places below us. They're 13, 38 points. We're on 41. So they're in and around us. These are the games that the teams that are around us that we should really be.
Yeah, we need to win, especially at home. We need to beat them. Yeah, obviously we beat them down at their place as well, which was good.
If they beat us, then they'll go ahead of us because they've got a better goal difference than us as well.
Yeah, they won't beat us. We'll beat them. But we need to watch the guy up front is getting all the goals for him. Foya, I think his name is. He's a good player. He's good. Yeah, he's the only one who thinks scoring at the minute. He's got I think he's got double figures in goals. I think so. Yeah, it should be a good game. Obviously, then we've got a long trip down to Truro on Tuesday. So hats off to all the Borough fans going down there. There is a coach, I think, available. So I was asked to drive, but I told them where to go. So then I was busy, and I am. So Saturday I won't be going down there as I'm working. But it should be good. I think Matt, our sponsor's going down. He's
Matt Rose is going. Yeah, he's doing a couple of days of it. So
yeah, happy days. The last city in the west before you get to Land's End. So there we are. There we go. Another bit of trivia for you there. Write all these down, gents.
Unwanted. But have you seen? We talk about Pendlebury's free kick. I think he hasn't scored many this season, has he? From the free kick.
I think it's his second free kick. I think he scored. I think the second one.
Yeah,
he scored one early in the season, didn't he?
Exactly. And he's had quite a few chances. He's come close quite a few times, obviously. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, the wall sort of did crumble a little bit. They should have stood up a bit more firm, but I think the keeper should have been a bit more aware of it, and they should have made a bit more effort.
I think from a Chesham point of view, I think all round they'll be disappointed by that one. But the thing though, if you shoot, you just hit the target. You never know what might happen. Get a touch. I think we were expecting a touch. To be fair, and no one touched it. Just went straight in. So
so I was sitting there because of the angle. I think they were probably expecting him to cross it, and I was, like I said, I was sitting there next to Michael Davies, and I looked over and I said to him, I said, I think he's gonna shoot it. It looks like he's lining up to shoot this, and sure enough, he did, and he pulled it off. It was a great free kick.
Happy days.
Goal.
Happy days. Need to get a good crowd down to Saturday's game against Charles. Obviously Charles, I don't think will bring many with them, but we need to get over.
I don't know. I think they because they're relatively close. I know it's Essex way, isn't it? Yeah, so they're relatively close. So they should bring a good. There's no reason why they should. Saturday afternoon, they should bring a good few numbers.
FA Cup weekend, though, isn't it? That takes away. People might say, "I'll start the cup games." Yeah,
we need our lot to turn up. Big crowd. Yeah. We need to get past this 600 odd attendance.
Yeah,
I know it's
about 650.
I know it's January, February. It's horrible months and all that, and it's cold. But it's a Saturday afternoon. It's what football's for. Yeah, it's what live football's for.
Warm the cockles with a few goals from the Borough. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
that'll warm me up.
We'll do show you support.
We'll do what I did. Just shout at the officials incessantly for ages and get told.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, do that. That warms up. Well.
Definitely don't do that if you're sat with the directors.
Yeah, probably not the best idea. Yeah, probably not the best idea. I'm waiting for my band order to come through, but it hasn't come through yet. I'll probably find it on my doorstep Friday when I get home. So
it's coming.
Yeah. So if someone wants a season ticket, you can have it off me. £100, it's yours. don't tell Matt.
But in all seriousness, we've said it loads of times before. Spencer said it loads of times before. Even Garbo has said it before as well. the finances in the football world, especially non-league, is such a big thing, and it's only made better for us, for a club like us, if our home gates are big. So we need 800, 900 plus in order to keep the budget that we want. Because if we keep getting at home, if we keep getting all these 600 odd people turning up, that means that that playing budget gets slashed. And that means that people like the people that you love watching, like Pendlebury, like Cooley, like Reggie, like Ollie, Robbo, anyone struggling, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyone,
but
even the loan
means
players. But it means that the money for them isn't there.
But the worst thing for me is we can't sign people on loan, like people like Pemmy who's injured, but when he comes back, he's going to be a beast. And Johnny Stuttle as well, he's come in.
That's what I'm saying. Even the loan signings that we have, like Stuttle, they'll end up going back to all the defenders.
Yeah, admittedly, we don't pay a lot of money for them. The club are good and they do quite well.
If our budget is slashed by even a few hundreds, that means that some of them have to go back because we can't afford to keep paying for them. And that money comes from our own fans turning up on a home game. That's it. That's it.
But as we know from Saturday night, they are fickle lot. They're a fickle lot.
Yes, as most fans are.
I think the mood around the social seems to have improved though in the last few days. We've had a few people backtracking on their words and sort of let's get in on the back of the team and the manager and sort of getting behind them. That's what we need.
It's more that we need more positivity, but it was the whole getting on on the manager kind of thing. I didn't really agree to that. Agree with that. Sorry, not to do that. But you can't. You need to back everybody and then support everybody at the club that's doing it because they're doing it for nothing. At the end of the day, hands down, they're doing it for nothing.
Yeah, very true. Right, anyway, moving on.
Right, moving on. So, as I said at the top of the show, Mark Ives, the CEO of the National League, is endorsing and promoting this new scheme to get 3 up and 3 down from the National League and League 2, 3 down from the League 2, which, if you think back to when Wrexham were promoted and Notts County were like almost pretty much level on points with them, it should have really been 2 up, 2 automatic, and one through the playoffs. Luckily for Notts County, they got up through the playoffs, but it could have been a completely different story.
I can't remember, so I might be wrong, but weren't they losing in the playoff final when they got to come back?
I think you might be right. Yeah, we'll have to check that. But it wasn't as plain sailing for them as they.
Either way, it was quite a tight final, and that could happen to anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
doesn't take away from the fact that they should have been automatically promoted anyway, because on those points that they won, that they had, they would have been automatically promoted. So this is what Mark Ives is trying to do.
It is. I mean, the way things are currently, it's really, really hard to get out of non-league football as it is. It's not non-league football. It's basically it is, but it's not amateur like it used to be. So there's not the fear for teams coming down from League 2 that they're going to have to go amateur or lose their professional status, and because that doesn't happen anymore. Most of the teams, I think, all of them bar maybe one team, I think they're all full time. I think Ebbsfleet might be the only one who's part time.
Tamworth,
two. So there's
2 or 3. It might be 3. I can't remember who the third one is. It might, but
I know there was only one last year, and that was York, and they've obviously gone professional and they're doing really well. They've got good backing, but they've it's not like it used to be like back in the day when Wickham were in on league and trying to get out of the GM Boxer Conference, and it was a real struggle. With teams going out and they'd never come back, you know what I mean? But that is actually the case now, to be honest with you, because teams tend to go down to the National League and they don't come back up for quite a few years because it's a really good standard. And to be honest with you, I think personally, the National League is a better standard than League 2 is across the whole league, because there's some fantastic teams in there, really well backed, really well supported. You know, teams like Barnet have been knocking around on top of the league all the time. Got teams in there, Woking and Aldershot, our local teams. They're all really well backed. You've got Yeovil come up from our league and they're doing quite well. They're mid-table holding their own. Halifax, York. You know, there's some fantastic teams. A lot of them, quite a lot of the really good ones are northern based as well, to be honest. But yeah, there's real some fantastic, great players. Oldham as well. I mean, they've not obviously come out of the football league. They're knocking around, and they're on the way back up as well. Oldham, they're doing really well. But yeah, some really fantastic teams, and I'm actually my actual view on it is I think the 3 up, 3 down is a must anyway. I think it needs to come in the end of next
So,
season. I'm honest.
before you go on to your point, I should
My
say
bright
that
idea,
yeah, I should say that, like you said, the 3 up, 3 down is needed. It has to happen. And I was listening to the radio this morning, which is when I text you about it. And he was Mark Ives was basically saying that all the 72 Football League EFL clubs have all agreed to this 3 up, 3 down process, new 3 up, 3 down process. But what it needs is they're all backing it. But what it needs is the Premier League and the EFL. They're still fighting out at the minute over financial payments coming down to the EFL from the Premier League, and he reckons that's going to take that alone is going to take the next 2 or 3 years, which puts this 3 up, 3 down on the back burner.
The issue is actually that the actual prize money that the Premier League give away to the league, the football league, it's divided up, and 75% of it, I think so. It might be more than that, but I think pretty sure it's over 3/4 of the money goes to the Championship. And by the time it gets whittled down, only 8% of the money goes to League Two clubs. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Exactly. It's mad. Yeah. I mean, 8% of that money.
This is what they're doing. This is what they're doing. They're fighting over how much to split it, and how much money goes to where.
Yeah. I'm not saying it should be there's 3 leagues, so it should be divided up 33% each way. That's not what I'm saying. The vast majority of the money does need to go to the Championship sides, because especially the ones that get relegated from the Premier League, because it's literally 1 minute you got you got money coming out your ears, and then the next minute you haven't got to put the puss in. Yeah. So and you got players on massive wages as well, which is also another issue in football, really. But that's another point for another day. But the amount of money that gets filtered down is mental, and they do need to re-look at it. I mean, there's so much money in the Premier League now. It does. Well,
I think that's what they're doing. They are looking at it, and they are talking about it. But it's just going to take. It's just taking so long, which is putting, like you said, it's 2 or 3 years that they're going to be. It baffles me really how it's going to take so long to talk about it. And they're
not talking about it at all. It's a Premier League, and don't want to give away the money. Basically, they're going to they just drag it out for as long as they can.
Yeah. But what that's doing is putting Mark Ives' 3 up, 3 down idea on the back burner. So that potentially won't happen for 4 or 5 years.
From the Premier League's point of view, they don't give a monkey's.
They don't care. No, they don't care. No.
Basically, English football is run by the top 6 teams in the Premier League, and that's it. Everyone else doesn't really count. They don't care.
So me and you, we talked about this. We talked about this like a couple of years ago now, wasn't it? Way before we decided to do anything like this for the podcast. So why don't you quickly sort of surmise what the idea that you thought that I think is a really good idea.
My idea.
I'll talk about what I want to see in the National League North.
My idea was obviously a 3 up, 3 down system, 2 up automatically, and 1 for the playoffs. They could also bring in, if they wanted to do 4 down, they could do that. But if they did that, the fourth team, or the winner of the playoff or something, would play a playoff against the 4th relegated team. They could do it that way. That's the one way of doing it. That way you don't have 3 down. Sometimes the obviously the league club will stay up.
Yeah,
that's another thing. There's lots of different ideas I've got. But also the main issue is based around finances, because finances at that level in football, it's precarious. It really is. I mean, there's so many clubs that none of them are making any money. They're all losing money left, right, and centre. The only time they can make any money is for the FA Cup, or if they sell a player for decent money, or get a young player through, etc., etc. So what my suggestion is that the cost of travelling the length and breadth of the country week in, week out, every 2 weeks for an away game. I mean, if you've got a team like Woking or Aldershot, for example, down south, they have to go up to Halifax. I mean, they have to get a coach. I mean, the coach, I think, for supporters coach was £50. I mean, can you imagine it? It's just mad. I mean, it's costing.
Can you imagine if Truro got to the National League?
Yeah, I know everyone. I know what people will say. Oh, it works both ways because teams have got to travel. But that's money. That money goes out of football. It doesn't stay in football. It goes out of football. There's too much money going out of football. Most of the money that goes out of football at the moment is through agents' fees and player wages. That's it. And the other big minus is travel costs, because you're not only you're traveling, you also got hotel stays and etc. etc. So my suggestion would be to take League Two and the National League and make it a regionalised league. And so you have a North and South. So you'd have those 48 teams, divide them up to 24 in the North and South. Yes, I know people are going to say, oh yeah, but what about the Midlands teams? You know, where are you going to put Tamworth? Are they going to be a North or a South team? You know, you just have to work that out. Like they do in the North and South now, there's always going to be someone who sort of maybe feels they'd lose out a little bit. And it's just the way the country's shaped, just the way it is. There's going to be, you know, the South is basically, you know, it's basically south of Birmingham, and then everyone else is north at the moment. But if you look at the way the country's shaped, that's the way it is. You've got Bristol, Tiro, you know, Torquay, and the Oval team. They're all sort of westernised. You can't put them in the north. So you know, I mean, you can't have three different leagues like a central league, because then you're still going to have the same issues. So with the west of the country. So you know, that's my suggestion. That's
also, if you had three, if you divide it into three, they'd be smaller leagues as well, and it wouldn't be very.
Well, no, you'd have to add that. You'd have to have the north and south as well that we're currently in. You'd have to add those in as well. And it just becomes a mess. My suggestion is you'd have Premier League, Championship, Division 1, and then you'd have League 2 North, League 2 South, and then you'd have it all still regionalised. Then you'd have the National League South still in place and the National League North, and they would then feed into the northern section of the League 2. And therefore, you're cutting down your costs. Maybe not. You know, you wouldn't see a massive increase, but it would save you having to go the length and the breadth of the country every bleeding week and it's better for fans because you know where you're going to be going. You know, they've already started regionalising all the cup competitions already to just for the sake of people's sanity having to travel miles and miles and miles every week. So they need to do it, and I think they should do it in the league. Yeah, okay, yeah. When you get to League 1 level, you're generally going to get the bigger clubs there who can afford that, and they've got bigger fan bases, etc. To do the travelling. But at League 2 and National League level, there aren't the resources around. Yeah, there are a few big sides down there who would travel in numbers, but the main majority, you're not going to see it. So you're asking players, fans, all the management staff. It's just too much. You know what I mean? And we're an example of that. We're in the south now. We're still having to go to Truro on a Tuesday night, and obviously Matt Rose, the club sponsors. He's staying overnight, and I think a few people are. Getting trains down there, etc., etc. But it's just that's one. It's not every week. You know what I mean? It's not like you're doing it every week. You know, it's once in a while for us at the minute. But if you're in the National League, I mean, Christ Almighty, I mean, imagine going to Carlisle. I mean,
Gateshead.
Gateshead. Yeah, Gateshead.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine if Truro got into the National League. Truro to Gateshead.
It'd be mental. Yeah, it'd be absolutely mad. Everyone would dread it, especially got them on a Tuesday night as well. You're only going to get, and it actually impacts your attendances as well, because we're obviously playing Truro on a Tuesday, so they're obviously thinking, no, it's not.
You definitely get fewer fans travelling.
Yeah, you're only going to have blooming 20 Farnborough fans.
Both ways. So that works both ways.
Yeah, it does. And we played them Tuesday night at our place, and I don't know how many they took because it weren't that many. Weren't many. But I think it was about 25. They did the journey. I think I was at that game.
And fair play to them to do it, but on a Tuesday night, it's not a.
No, it's not. No. To be fair, I think that's where the league fixtures have actually been good this year, as opposed to last season. We were terrible. We had a proper battle. We were getting Torquay and the Oval on the Tuesday night away, which was shocking, really. But this year we've had Truro away on a Tuesday, and people thought that's terrible. But they had to play at our place on a Tuesday, and it works both ways. So you know, it's one. I think Spencer.
If I remember rightly, didn't we did ask them to change it, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I think we did actually. Yeah, it was one of those ones that we said we'll go down. I think it was actually was it our home game we tried to get it changed? I think it was our home game.
Yeah, we tried to get it changed.
Our home game. Yeah, we tried it, and they refused.
They refused. Yeah,
refused. I don't know why, but yeah, but there we go. Yes, that's my idea. So have so Premier League, Championship, League 1, and then it's regionalised down from there. So like all the leagues are. So you have a regionalised League 2 North, League 2 South. You know, and then because they're both professional leagues anyway. It's not like you're going to be adding
exactly. Yeah, like you said earlier, there's only 2, maybe 3 teams in the National League that aren't full time.
Yeah, and they're hybrid anyway, and they're going to be full time. Yeah. It might actually most people play at level of full time footballers anyway. So you know, for me, it makes no difference. I just think it's a pretty reasonable suggestion.
I think it is, yeah.
I would say that's my suggestion, but you know, we'd like to know actually, if people have got any ideas on it. Comment on the YouTube video that goes out with this episode. Comment on it, or come and see us. Come and see me on Saturday if you like. I'm at the Chelmsford game. I'm gonna hopefully meet a few a few committed fans on Saturday. I'll be up there from about 2 o'clock by the commentary table, so I'll usually have a chat with Ben around that time, just to get the lie of the land, and then come up and see me and see what you think.
So that's your idea. That's a really good idea. I'll tag Mark and Mark Ives and the National League in this. As hopefully, if they do watch it, then get in contact and let us know what you think. But
I'm sure it's something they must have thought of doing, and maybe they don't want to.
I'm sure it has been. Yeah, I'm sure it has been.
It's probably they don't want to put the League Two clubs' noses out of joint, possibly, and they push back on it because they want
sometimes there is a need for a change, and sometimes that change can be a good thing.
Yeah. If you look at all the teams football in this country is mental. There's so many football clubs in this country. It's unheard of, really. You go across European leagues. There's only actually. I know Bordeaux are in the fourth tier of French football in a minute, but it's all amateur down at that level. In this country, we've got 5 top leagues, pretty much professional. It's English football. It's like you don't know how lucky you are having that kind of level of football.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of players want to come here, because they could play. They could play at League Two and National League level, still be a professional footballer, and play at a really good standard, and get looked at all around the world, pretty much. Brilliant TV deal. There's loads of money in the game as well through lots of finances and TV deals, etc. So it's really lucky. We're going for a really lucky time at the moment, and hopefully a long may it continue. But that's why we get the cream of the crop with the best players in the world. Pretty much want to all play here, because that's what it's like. So, and it's so competitive as well. Football in this country, it's brilliant. It's not
that's kind of. I wanted to sort of take that sort of point onto the National League North and National League South. And I'm really only basing this on the National League South because that's where we are with our club. Because I don't really know a lot about the National League North and the clubs that are in there. But what I can say is, at the minute, I think in our league we've got 6 out of the current top 7 are all full time.
Yep.
And obviously at the minute only 2 go up, 1 automatically and 1 through the playoffs. Now, in my eyes, it looks like that in a few years' time we're going to be in danger of quite a lot of our league, of our division, and probably the same in the National League North as well. Quite a lot of the teams in these 2 divisions, will still be full-time clubs in what is essentially a part-time division. So I wanted to put this to you, Simon. What I'd have thought that, so anyone coming down from the National League and there'll be full-time clubs essentially. They get a 2-year grace period where they can try to stay full-time and try and get out of it, back into the National League, back into the full-time league. And if after that 2 years, if they haven't managed to get out, then they have to revert back to part-time status or some sort of hybrid sort of part-time status, in order to preserve money and save money and help with finances. Because it must. You look at Dorking and Borehamwood, they're first and second, but their wage bill is far over £1 million.
Yeah.
They can't sustain that for 2 or 3 years if they don't get promoted. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're two examples. I think I had a chat with Louis from Claret's Extra the other day, and I was commenting on one of his ex posts, and I think Borehamwood's budget is like 1.5 million, which is mental. Yeah. Dorking's well over 1 million. God knows what Torquay are paying.
Maidstone, they're to be because their FA Cup run last year as well. So they'll have loads of money.
Yeah.
But my idea is just to basically try and keep these divisions sort of on a part-time status, to give everybody else a chance. You know what I mean?
The only issue I can see that happening is how do you put something in statute to actually make that happen? Because it's very difficult, and there'll be ways that clubs that sneaking around.
There'll be ways. I'm sure there'll be ways around it, but like you can't call it non-league if no one in there is a non-league team.
No, that's true. No, exactly. Yeah, when you say non-league, you're looking at amateur, aren't you? Amateur,
amateur part-time, amateur clubs, part-time clubs,
not professional, basically. Yeah.
Which
Which
in
at the
fairness,
moment,
the vast majority of the National League South are part-time clubs, amateur
yeah.
amateur clubs, if you want to call them that.
Yeah, I think I think the North is similar as well. Similar. I think there might be 5 or 6 in the North that are full time. I think some 4 are full time.
We touched on it earlier. We touched on it earlier with club finances getting a bit out of control, out of hand, and you've got these clubs for example, Boreham Wood, who've got a wage budget of £1.5 million. I mean, is that a year? Is that a week? Or is that a month?
I think that's their total budget for the season. But that's if you look at Farnborough's, we're running at about 200 grand. If you go back to Spencer's interview at the start of the season, we asked him about budgeting, and obviously we didn't get any sort of 100% clear answers because no one wants to say anything about it. But if you work out, he gave us a rough model. If you work out your average attendance times that by your 23 home games, there's your budget. So that's what they're working around. So if you work that out, if you work out Farnborough's say average attendance 850, which is why it's important to get 850 people in, times that by 23. If you do the sums in your head, you'll get yourself to a figure. Now I know that I worked it out. It's about 240,000. I worked it out at. But you look at Aldershot. If you look at their average attendance, for example, is about 2,000 and about 2.7. So they times that by 3. Aldershot, their budget is over 1.2 million. So it's like.
So how are you working? Sorry, how are you working this out?
It's you get your average attendance at 850 times by 23 home games, and there's your budget. And there's your budget for the year.
That's so it's 19. Well, it says 19,000, but I don't know. You might be working that right.
I think your calculator's gone wrong. But anyway, I worked it out. Yeah, but either way, Aldershot's budget is 5 times bigger than ours, just based on their average attendance. That's why it's so important to get people in the ground in for the home games. It's really, really important. It's basically football clubs' only resource apart from decent sponsorship is people going through the turnstiles, paying their money every week.
And that's the reason why clubs like us, we have so many sponsors on at the club on board. They can't even fit enough boards around the ground.
It's great to see that. It's brilliant getting loads of people.
It's great every season, and that's what we rely on. I mean, and obviously people in the board as well, in the boardroom, directors and that putting their money in as well, and obviously great people like Matt Rose, whose company sponsors the club, and who earlier on in the season signed an extension. To his sponsorship, which is really good to see.
Yeah, really good. You've got Duncan Saunders as well. He's a really massive supporter of the club. And there's so many other people around as well. We have Garbo as well. He's German. He also helps out where he can as well with his substantial earnings. It's
none of this of what the fans see last season, this season. None of it's possible unless they're sitting in the seats in the stands at the ground, filling the ground. Because I tell you, I said this to Michael Davies on Tuesday, because the attendance was so small. I said to him, he said, "What do you reckon it is?" And I said, we both said it's going to be no less than 500. And I said to him, I'll tell you what, this attendance has taken me back to when we were like step 4.
Yeah,
that's how small it was.
Yeah.
And I know it's a Tuesday night, and it's cold, and people are working and stuff.
You also have to consider as well. Our form has been terrible, hasn't it? Really. I mean, I know. When I said,
but that's no reason. That's still not a reason for people to drop off.
Yeah, I would. I mean, personally, I would still go if I didn't have a season ticket. I'd still pay to get in. But I'd still go. But I would sometimes I would think twice, especially if it's pouring with rain. I mean, there was sometimes where I didn't have my car, so I cycled down there and stuck my bike in and cycled back. So that was all right. But yeah, it is. I understand people, and when we said at the start of this episode, it's like it's the 30th of November. That does seem like flipping hell. That's ages. That's like 2 months. But we've had quite a lot of postponements, and there's been weeks where we haven't played. So it's not terrible. I think it was eight games. I think I said
8 games. I think it is,
8 games. Yeah, 8 games without a win. But before that, form was decent, to be fair. So it's not terrible. Yeah, I know we've had a bad run.
There's no reason why it can't come back.
And we have lost some crap games. I mean, Aveley and Enfield probably 2 really bad away defeats, really, which was poor. But we're at home Saturday, so it's we just play better at home, don't we? Really, we've got a nice, as Spencer alluded to after the Chesham game. It's like we've got a really good pitch. We can pass the ball on it. We've got some really good young players as well. Forward in good form, and who's good, and he can do everything pretty much. And we've got Pemi coming back from injury as well. It's really good. So yeah, I think things are looking better than they certainly were 2 or 3 weeks ago, I should imagine. So yeah,
No, absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, that's our take on it. We're gonna you're gonna do a bit. Well, I say you are gonna do a bit of work on trying to get hold of Mark Ives. We'll give him a few ideas. Maybe, you never know, he might even listen to the podcast and might think, "Oh, I haven't thought of that." Probably he has, but unlikely. If I've thought of it, there's probably 10 million other people who have as well. But I just think, whereas as you know, we're quite big on the finances of football and how precarious things are. And we're worried for teams really, because there's going to be. You look at our league on itself. You've got 5 or 6 full-time teams there, and only 2 of them are going to go up. What's going to happen to the other team? What's going to happen to teams like Worthing are in there? They're doing really well. What if Worthing go up? Yeah. Well, Torquay have already been through the bad financial time as we have at the club. And it's not good. But Dorking, if they don't go up, is Mark White going to think to himself, "Do you know what? I've been in it 20 years. That might be enough for me." And if he pulls out, then what's going to happen to them? So it's I don't think he will. Not I've heard. I'm not starting rumours or anything. I've heard he's going to go, but he's not. I wouldn't have thought he's still for me.
But the premise of what you're saying,
there's only so much, isn't there? People do,
Only two clubs can go up, which means that there's four other full-time sides that stay in this league for another season. But that's where my point of having a 2-year grace period of being promoted, then you have to start thinking about scaling back.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's a good idea purely from the finances, but it's going to be very difficult to sort of put it into statute.
That kind of thing I think would be difficult, because these full-time clubs will want to keep trying to push to go up. But
they'll kind of find a way around it as well. People are clever in football. They kind of work a way around it, or there'll be some loophole in the rules, and they'll get around it somehow. I don't think, unfortunately, it's doable. But so I think you're always going to be reliant on people putting their own money in their back pockets, sort of to keep clubs afloat. As unfortunately, that's just the way it is. It's all, and to be honest with you, if you look back in history, that's always been the way it's been. It's always happened in football. But I think the massive scale of trying to get promoted and get the Premier League, I don't think it's ever been as high as at the moment. I'm sort of as you see, I'm looking away from my screen now. I'm just looking at the National League in a minute. Well, the other factor you've got to consider in next season, we're already looking forward to next season, is if you've got only 2 clubs out of those 6 or 7 that are full time in our league already, on big playing budgets, only 2 of those are going to go up. So that leaves you with at least 4 that are going to be still in our league for next season. But then you've also got the 4 teams coming down. So then obviously 2 of them will go in the 2 of them will probably go into the National League, into the North. But at the moment you've got teams like Wealdstone, Maidenhead, Boston, and Ebbsfleet. So if those 4 went down, for example, we'd have 3 of those would be in our league. Boston would end up in the North, so we'd have a team from the North to come down. Someone would have to swap around somewhere there. But Maidenhead
it'll be the highest position team in the National League South will move over to the North.
Well, it depends. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It depends on logistics, and mileage.
That's what I mean. It'd be the highest place.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Team.
As in, geographically placed rather than finishing position.
Yeah. Because last season it was who was it? Was it Nuneaton Borough who were in the National League North?
Might have been. There was another one, Bishop Stortford, wasn't it?
Bishop Stortford, that's it. Yeah, Bishop Stortford. Yeah,
East Anglia, aren't they?
They've already got Brackley Town and Oxford City, who aren't really northern teams.
Yeah, and Oxford are probably the ones that got lost out this season. I mean, they're really a southern team, aren't they? To be fair, but there's just not enough. There's not. That's a thing with having and the Midlands teams. Unfortunately, get with it. Unfortunately, but so you got to answer. I mean, you got teams like Maidenhead have got a reasonably good budget now with the Max Kilman money. that they got for that transfer. I mean, they got 4 million for that, so they've got a good budget. And then obviously you've got people like Kevin Locko that went there to play full-time football on much better wages than he was at Farnborough. So that's probably tells you a lot about their sort of financial clout. Ebbsfleet, as we know, they're backed by some kind of Qatari hedge fund, but they're losing money left, right, and centre. I mean, the last time I looked, they're about 22 million in debt. So but when I say debt, it's been written off, but it's on the books. You know what I mean? So when what happens if the Qataris decide to put out? I mean, that club would go under overnight. It's not going to be and Wildstone as well. I mean, they've had a reasonably good FA Cup run. They've had was it Matt Taylor was managing them? He's left now, hasn't he? He's gone to Solihull. Portsmouth player. He's gone. So I don't know who they've got in there's manager now. I've lost track of it, but they had him in a reasonably good cup run as well. They gave a couple of league sides a good game. There's some proper teams. So you've got to add them to it. So you've got. I mean, they're obviously full-time clubs, I think. Then you've got another 8 full-time clubs. It's every single year it seems it's like there's more and more and more clubs coming down. They're keeping their full-time status, and it makes it very difficult for clubs like ours to make anywhere. You're just going to be content with probably mid-table every single season, and eventually that happens. If you don't go forward, you end up going backwards in football. So you end up going down, and then we'd end up back into in the Southern Premier again, which would be really poor. But I'm saying that'll happen. I'm not the doom and gloom merchant. I think we've got enough about us certainly this season. You never know. There's always a surprise team every year. Like this season, there's been 2 or 3. So Churo and Western-super-Mare, Worthing probably to some extent. They're doing really well. They've been up there all season. And then you've got obviously the surprise ones like I'd probably say Chelmsford have struggled a bit more than people would think this season. Bath really struggled at the start of the season. They sort of pulled themselves out of it now. There's always a surprise. So, we could be one of them next season. You never know. But some might say we have surprised everybody already, but being top for twice this season, haven't we? So it's just tough. But I think financially, obviously the promotion relegation thing, it needs to happen because there's no real difference in the standards now. If anything, I think the National League's a better standard. And then you've got and you need to maybe look at regionalising the leagues, and also maybe promotion relegation being a bit more fluid. To maybe have more teams going up and down, because if you regionalised, it's regional football anyway at our level. So if you go down to Southern Premier, it gets even more regionalised when we go down.
The further down the levels.
Yeah, that's actually a help to a lot of teams because as you said, with the travelling and you're playing more local teams. I think it's good for fans as well. You're not travelling there a lot of the time. So obviously that comes with being sort of smaller clubs and smaller leagues. But I think it's something that needs to be embraced higher up the ladder.
Well, look, we'll end it there. But if anybody watching this has any ideas or comments on what we've suggested, then feel free to let us know. Send us a message on Twitter or Instagram or even on TikTok. We're on TikTok as well. Or leave a comment on this video, as so many of you have done on previous videos. But look, that leaves it. Leaves it. The end of the episode. I forgot what I was going to say then.
That sounds like you didn't want it to end, mate. You're just trying to keep it going for a little bit longer.
I want to keep it going. Yeah. So that's the end of the episode tonight. Last quick one, ish. But that leaves me to say that this episode was sponsored by Chartec Consulting, taking your business visions and turning them into innovative reality. For more information, visit chartecconsulting.co.uk. Simon, say good night.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening and watching. Hopefully we'll have a player on in the next couple of weeks. We're working on that one at the moment. So we're hopefully have a player on. It's just generally fixtures and players being very busy outside of football at the minute. We're struggling to get people on. So fortunately, just got to put up with me and Alan for maybe a couple of weeks long. But we're looking to get a player on in the next few weeks. So something to look forward to. Thanks for listening. Cheers.
And again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we'll be back soon with another episode. Good night.